Hey, all you duplicate bards and bardettes. Welcome back to I Cast Vicious Mockery. I'm Austin.
I'm Matt.
And, like, we were just talking about trains before this. We'll skip that for now. You got any homebrew? All right, so listen.
I
do. We should explain.
Yeah.
We loved the full homebrew episode, but it has more potential.
You're right.
We could take this a step further. And today, we are taking that one small step for a man and one giant leap for homebrew kind.
Right. So we recorded this for a year. Here's another one for you.
Mm-hmm. Surprise.
We're doing more.
Bet you never thought that this would be here this Monday.
Yeah, the format is...
well, you'll see it. It'll be a surprise.
Yeah. Okay. So homebrew here, user monkey_DM.
Monkey_DM. Pleasure to meet you.
It's not Monkey D. Luffy. This is Monkey DM.
Wait, is it spelled like that? Monkey DM?
No,
that would be
Monkey_ and then DM.
DM. Okay. Well,
I still think that might be the joke.
I'm gonna say that if it is, I appreciate it, and if it's not, then I get that you like monkeys, and that's cool too.
It's accidentally appreciated.
Yeah.
Here's a barbarian path.
Okay.
That is sea themed.
Oh, watery barbarian.
A watery barbarian. All right.
I'm really glad that's what you meant when you said sea themed, and it wasn't the letter C.
Everything they can do starts with the letter C for cranberries. All right. Anyway, sorry if you're a fan of the Game Grumps. Starting at 3rd level, you can manifest an extra weapon when you enter a rage. Interesting. It can appear as a giant anchor, a sharp harpoon, or something vaguely sea themed.
Anchor arms.
It seems. Yeah, like the anchor arms.
I'm gonna go with that. We're gonna take that and run. Let's continue on.
Well, interestingly enough that you've said that, it does not require a free hand to wield, as it is considered attached to your forearm.
Oh.
Interesting. So you could carry a shield and another weapon and this one, technically. Interesting. So as a bonus action, you use the weapon to strike at a creature of your choice. If it's huge or smaller, and it's within 15 feet of you, geez, this is crazy. Make a strength saving throw, DC, blah, blah. Or you can pull them up to 15 feet in a straight line towards you and grapple them. It's called.
Okay, so it is meant to be like an anchor,
or like a fishing line.
Like it is a chain. It's a chain thing,
right?
Like it's a wrist chain, like grappling hook. Okay.
Right, exactly. The grasping line is the name of this skill.
Oh well, why didn't you just tell me?
But starting at 10th level, you can also target gargantuan creatures.
Nice, I like that.
And 20 feet is the range.
That's got some flavor to it. I like that, like the whole sea theme taking on a large creature.
Yeah, it's like the white whale.
It is that.
Yeah,
and I think that's a very human thing, or humanoid. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do other species have that?
I don't know.
Probably not.
Maybe
like fearbolgs wouldn't. Anyway, we'll get there.
No. My brain skimming doesn't catch anything. It's a human thing, I think. But at 6th level, you can charge as a wave of destruction. As an action, you can magically transform into a wave and move it up to 60 feet in a straight line in any direction. Any creature in your path must succeed a dex saving throw or be knocked prone. And moving this way does not trigger attacks of opportunity. If you are grappling a creature with your grappling line, they are moved with you and they take 2d4 bludgeoning damage each time you pass through a creature. Interesting.
Ooh.
If the movement ends early due to an obstacle, take 1d4 bludgeoning damage for each 10 feet traveled. Like you take that, I think. But you're probably raging, which means it'll probably be halved anyway.
Yeah.
And you can use this a number of times equal to your strength modifier. At 10th level, you have echolocation, which gives you blind sight out to 20 feet as long as you can hear. And if you are fully submerged in water, that increases to 40 feet.
That's okay. Yeah, cool.
So that makes sense. I like that. And then at 14th level, you manifest new powers and you select one of two things. That's new. Normally you just get stuff, but this time you get to pick between two things. When you use your abyssal charge ability, that's the
wavy boy.
The title charge. I guess it just called it something else for a second.
Yeah.
Each creature in your path that fails the saving throw now takes 4d6 bludgeoning damage.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can do double rigging. So while you're raging, you can now manifest 2 grappling line weapons.
That's the way to go. I like that.
And you can target 2 different creatures within range.
Yeah. Oh, heck yeah.
I also I like the title double rigging.
Yeah, isn't that good?
It feels good. It feels right.
Very. I mean, so all right, yeah. Is that everything for this?
That is everything, as far as I can tell. Yeah, that's everything.
Okay, so that gives me some really good vibes of like, just it's like a Davy Jones kind of character, right? Like literally, you are the embodiment of the sea's rage. You know, like. That could be a really cool angle to play that.
Yeah, a sea-themed barbarian. It seems appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
Yeah, the way it fights, I love the way that it's got like a very defined attack style of like you grab this guy and you run him into everybody else. Then you move on to the next one. You do that. Is that too limiting? Should I be worried that like that's kind of what it is?
Well, I mean, as a barbarian, you get a lot of other things too, because those are only the subclass features.
Yeah.
So that doesn't
but
include.
the wave charge uses a whole action.
Yeah.
So you're not really going to do much else on that turn or anything.
Right, but so does attacking.
Yeah.
I mean, it gives you the opportunity. Are you kidding me? I mean, for one action, you can do a lot of stuff with that. Well, you can attack a lot of creatures all at once. I mean, you basically attack every creature that's within that 60-foot line.
That is a big range.
60 feet is a lot. Though one thing it's not clear, or maybe it is clear and I just missed it. It doesn't say how wide it is. I guess it's just as wide as you are.
I would assume so.
I guess it's just
like a 5 foot wide, 60 foot long.
Yeah, 60 foot long line. Yeah, that makes sense.
That would be the same thing as like catapult or something, where you know the range is whatever. You can hit anything in a straight line there. Has to be in one of those spots.
Okay. Yeah, so a straight line. So I guess it is a little limiting. How often do creatures just stand in a straight line like that? But
could be cool if it one of the possible upgrades was. Oh, okay. I thought you were making throw uppy sounds. She's good. That was her foot scraping on the remote. I think it'd be cool if one of the upgrades was to change the shape of that wave from a straight line to a cone or something like that. Now, where do you end up? Maybe just at the end of the cone. You know, like it's okay if it's 60-foot cone and it just gives you some crazy movement options. You're one with the sea. Like, yeah, you can do crazy stuff.
Or if it let you like sort of zigzag, like an ebb and flow kind of thing. Though I guess that wouldn't be a tidal wave anymore. Just a current. Or a current thing.
Yeah. But you can't get into whitewater stuff because that's not
the sea anymore. That's true.
No.
That is true.
What's that? Oh, I just learned about this. There's this river. I just learned about this river today in England. The STI no, Stern or something. No, that's not it. STI. Anyway, this river,
Mm-hmm.
it's like just wide enough of a river that you'd have trouble jumping across it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like there are places on it where you could easily jump across, but other places would be a little tougher. Think like the creeks around here.
Yeah, sure.
It is also 66 meters deep. All right.
Yeah.
And there's a layer of water on the surface that moves so fast that if you fall in, you can't get back up above the water. It flips you over as you try to get out.
Man, sounds not scary in the slightest.
No. Because of the narrowness and the depth, of course, you'll be bashing against rocks and things like that. No doubt.
Oh, 100%.
But just literally, if you just tried to go in and just swim down it, it's too late. You can't get back out. Isn't that fun?
Yeah, that won't give me nightmares or anything.
Yeah. I've also heard that there are some of those in like Sweden and Norway. Because just because of the shape of the rocks, you know? And don't quote me that first one's in England. It could be somewhere else, but the person talking about it sounded. Did I not hear their voice? Maybe I didn't hear their voice. I don't remember for sure. I thought it was in England, but could have been in Ireland or Scotland or somewhere.
Could have been in South America or something.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I mean, no, not there because England was mentioned somewhere. So it was like around England.
It was around there, yeah.
But it might not have been in England. I really don't remember.
Wales. I bet it was in Wales.
That would not make sense. That's the only place where I think it's not.
Oh, okay. Got it. The one place it's definitely not.
Yeah, there's one place in the entire world where it isn't. Because its name wasn't 80 syllables. It was one syllable. Or two, maybe at most. It was 5 letters, guaranteed.
Guaranteed 5 letters. So this subclass, I think, is really I think it's really interesting because it allows it. I feel like it does something unique with a barbarian, like a ranged grapple, where you can actually pull something towards you.
Right.
That's not something that any other subclass can do off the top of my head, at least, that I can think of.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think grappling is specifically like you got to walk up to them kind of thing.
Right, exactly. And even like feats and stuff that give you better grapples don't really do that.
Yeah. So that's a really cool, unique thing.
Right. It might be like a fighter thing, maybe in some instances, but not a
The only thing I can think of is the net.
Right.
The net, which you can throw at someone, and if it hits, they are grappled, I believe. Or
I think that's how it works.
Or it knocks them prone,
yeah, something
and
like that.
they're restrained, maybe. But I don't think it's quite as harsh as them being restrained. I can't remember.
Yeah, restrained is a lot worse of a condition to be in.
Yeah.
And you know what, though? That might be an interesting thing to add to this at higher levels. Is that you grapple them and you can reel them, and then maybe on your next turn you can use a bonus action to try to attempt to restrain them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a
another
feat
DC.
for that, I think, right? Does the grappler feat give you that?
Grappler feat, I believe, does that. Yeah, you can restrain people. That would be a good combo. The grappler feat with this subclass.
I would absolutely combo that up. Now, okay. Story wise, I want to think of another thing here. So we got like the sort of grizzled, like spirit of the sea type person. Like I am the ocean's rage manifest. How do you play this character for laughs? That's what I want to know. What's a goofy version of this?
Just really, just go ham cheese on the pirate tropes. I think
a good
way to do it.
I was thinking about this earlier.
So
I was thinking of like a cleric fighter character who's like a vampire slayer or stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah, that's a good combo.
like a
for it.
Helsing kind of.
Right.
Performs exorcisms and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But all their so this one's not a great. It's not a great, but like their weapons have names, obviously.
Of course.
Like their cat of nine tails named Chastity, and their their bearded axe named. So the only name I came up with was Hangover Cure, but I think that's hilarious for for like two-handed executioner's axe. That's a great name.
I think somebody left Chastity over at Juliet's.
Do they have any there? You can go check. You can go find out after this.
A Chastity?
You want to ditch Naruto and go
Just go over
hang out with
Juliet's. I think you have to be 30 to go in there.
Do you?
That's what I heard. I heard from
Wait, what?
Yeah, because they pick up from the store that I work at, and it comes up every time they do because I'm like, who even goes there? And apparently you have to be 30 to get in. That's what I learned.
Is that like a temporary pandemic thing? Because I swear I knew people who were so a lot of the military people who I went to school with go. Maybe it's not there though. Maybe it's the other ones in town.
Yeah.
Must be.
It's the only one around here.
Yeah.
You have to go pretty far out to find any other ones.
Yep. I know where they all are.
I actually have driven past another one. I think it's between here and I always forget what that place is called. Springfield.
Field. Yes. Yeah, there's one out there. I did printing for them.
Yes, it did. Really?
You should see. I printed their calendars.
Nice.
There's some. Oh man, the design exquisite.
I am sure that most of you have picked up on what kind of places these are by now.
We're talking about strip clubs.
Yeah, yep. Gentlemen's clubs.
No, some of them are strip clubs, straight up.
Oh, okay, sure. I thought that the gentlemen's club was just a euphemism.
There is one. There's a place called Gentlemen's. No, it's enough. That's enough of that.
Yeah, we can.
All right. There. So yeah, the goof. I like the idea of the tropes though.
Right. The tropes.
That's good. Which tropes? Where are we headed with this?
My only love be the sea. Like if the DM wanted to do something funny, like this is something you would talk to the player about. They would make this person just maybe their charisma score is not super high necessarily, but they're just like super attractive. But they're like married to the sea. So like all these girls are fawning over them.
This is fun. Yeah.
But they're not even tempted. They're just like, maybe it's because I keep listening to the song Brandy over and over again.
But they're just like, I can't.
Yes.
I'll only break your heart.
Yeah. I'll only be breaking your heart less.
I like that. That's really good. Yeah. So that's one aspect of it that you can play up with this character who literally grapples things to them. Like in combat, they are like anything that is pulled close to them is destroyed. So they push people away.
Ooh, wow. I like that.
But they're
the
just
theming
like,
there is so good.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's that aspect of it, but let's see what you like.
I mean, definitely give him a peg leg.
Oh, sure, and like an eye patch or something.
In fact, I would upgrade the range on their grapple if your character took a hit to their walking speed because they have a non-magical peg leg. Because I know that there are augmentations and things like that in a lot of D&D campaigns that will, like the battle wheelchair. That's a thing.
Yep.
So there are things that would make it so your character would perform as they did with all their limbs or better with magical limb replacements and things.
Right.
Absolutely an option. I'd say though, if you would take no bonuses and your character is like, it has a, maybe halved or like their walking speed goes from 30 to 20 or something. Do barbarians get a speed boost?
They do.
Maybe your character doesn't get a speed boost, and they get a range boost on their grapple.
Oh,
That'd be pretty
interesting.
sweet.
And a little bit of a trade-off there.
So there's because then in their wave form, they are as mobile as ever. Anyway, right? They can still move 60 feet. That's incredible. It's really useful.
Now, to be clear, I don't think they can do that all the time.
No, I don't know how.
I forget how often it said you could charge.
I didn't hear anything about.
Yeah, a number of times equal to your strength modifier.
Oh, okay. Per day?
Per short or long rest.
Oh, okay, per short rest. That's like, I mean, you could do 12 short rests a day.
I guess there isn't a limit on the number of short rests you can do, is there?
I think I'd have to look it up. There probably is.
Long rest, it's once a day.
Yeah.
Once a day you can do a short rest. But a long rest. Short rest, though, I don't know.
There might be a limit.
There might be. I don't remember.
It might be 2, actually.
That would make sense.
Yeah, that's floating around. It's rattling up next to my brain cell in there. So
if you're the single one up there, so if you maximize your stats, that could be up to 5 per day.
Yeah,
if you maximize your stats,
which isn't very many, but if you make them count, you make them count. You know,
right? Well, it makes it more. It makes more sense when it's that limited. It makes more sense to save it until there's a good time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also just enough where you'll probably do it once per combat encounter guaranteed.
Yeah, you wouldn't feel bad about using one.
Right.
If it's going to end things.
Right. Even if you only get one creature with it.
Right, exactly.
Right.
If they were dangerous, then you took care of them.
Right. Now, you want to, maybe you can help balance me out too, because I think that maybe I tend to see things as overpowered more often than like I tend toward thinking that something is overpowered, even if maybe it's actually rather well balanced. And that has to do with something I read earlier today, where I read the comments, and all the comments said, "Oh yeah, this is really well balanced and really cool." And I thought it sounded really strong, like a little bit too strong.
Yeah, it seems good, but I wouldn't say it's stronger than a wizard as far as DPS or things like that go.
Oh no, I don't think this is overpowered by any means.
Oh, you were talking about a different.
I'm thinking of a different thing. I'm just saying that in general, when we look at these, you might need to reel me back a little bit, because I might have a tendency to think things are too strong.
That's probably just a matter of what settings interest you. You might be more interested in a gritty, lower magic type of setting, like more realism, that sort of thing.
Maybe.
Because I feel like the scaling of damage, like if you're in a super high magic setting where things are nuts and it all goes off the wall, and like it's just everybody's a super powerful wizard, I you can get away with a lot more there.
Yeah. In terms of like what,
nothing's going to be overpowered,
right? Yeah,
because there's always going to be just a bigger, stronger, more magical bad guy,
right? And you know why I think I avoid that? Because I don't like that kind of power escalation, where in order to keep it going, you have to keep pushing it to the next level.
There are 2 problems with it, actually, I think.
Yeah.
The one issue is that you have to keep making stronger bad guys, which isn't that hard to do.
That's true.
But it takes a lot of the enemies that are potential ones, and kind of just brushes them aside, unless you scale them all up to begin with. But like, you don't always know it's headed toward that, massive power scale. So your goblins might be too weak, to handle it, and things like that. But the other thing is, I think it limits player choice sometimes. When you're, when you have such a strong, like, imagine you have a very, very strong magical sword. Well, why are you going to use any of your other items you've accumulated?
I see what you're saying. Like the player abilities stop meaning anything.
Yeah, if you don't balance it very carefully, and you have something that's too strong, it makes everything else pointless. If you have something that's too weak, it's fine. if there's only one thing like that, right? Like that doesn't matter. They just won't pick it. But if you have something that's too strong, it breaks everything else.
Right, like the Boots of Haste.
Yeah.
In campaign 1 of Critical Role. Do you know about this?
No.
A character had these Boots of Haste, and you know what the haste spell does, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it does the haste spell, and I think I don't remember. I don't know if you don't suffer the negative effects at the end. Maybe you still do,
Mm-hmm.
because you get stunned for a round at the end of the haste spell when it's done.
And then I think you get a level of what's that called? Fatigue?
A level of exhaustion.
Exhaustion, right.
I don't think
I haven't played D&D in a long time.
I know.
Man.
Well, yeah, we're gonna schedule the next. I'm gonna put a schedule up this Friday, I think, which will be in the past when this episode goes up. But anyway, well, I know that's
it's a time travel episode.
This is a time travel. I have already released the schedule for the next session. So the Boots of Haste, given to a rogue. I don't even know what level spell haste is. Do you have any idea off the top of your head? I think it's like 3rd.
Hey Google, what level spell is haste?
That's a good way to do it.
Nope.
Clash of Clans. Yeah, that's not. Oh, the third dark
elixir spell unlocked is the whatever else. Okay, thank you, Google. Okay, thank you. Bye.
I'll look it up real fast.
Oh wait, I can look it up faster.
Haste 5e.
Oh, I'm gonna beat you there. I've got this one in the bag, my dude. Oh, here it goes. It's gonna be a level
3.
Third level.
3rd level spell. All right, so it's a 3rd level spell.
It's transmutation?
Yeah, weird. I know, right?
Although, wait, what would it be?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, evocation doesn't make sense.
No.
Illusion doesn't make sense.
No. I guess you're turning magic into energy.
Yeah, you're turning magic almost into an adrenaline rush, sort of. It's like a drug almost, because there's the crash at the end.
Yeah.
It's like one of those super soldier pill things that they talk about in fantasy sometimes.
Yeah. You know what though? I think it could be a like psychic-y whatever type. Like it could,
like a psionics thing, or like a
not psionic,
an enchantment.
Oh yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, that's
I guess
does
that work on people's brain? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see it being an enchantment.
Me
where
too.
You like trigger it and then it like makes all the
it unlocks their
neurotransmitters just go like
it unlocks their
the full
gates.
potential of your okay.
Oh,
it's the limitless.
Oh, the limitless thing.
The limitless thing.
Yeah, you only use 25% of your
no, I thought it was 10% of your
10% of your brain?
Wait, you've been using 25?
I know.
What the heck?
I must be really stupid, because this is me using 25% of my brain.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's a good point. Yeah, I only use like maybe like a 0.5%.
I use maybe 1% of my brain.
Most people use 10% of their brain, but I only use 0.5% of my brain.
And if I took the limitless pill, I could do more than you would ever imagine.
Yeah.
Or it's like Lucy. You ever see that one?
Isn't that the same?
It's the same idea, but she like does crazy stuff. Maybe I'm making this up, but I'm pretty sure she could do stuff like she like hacked into computers with her brain or something like that. She could like turn invisible. It was weird, man.
Brains do hold a lot of data in them, but I don't think that they'd be good interfaces for hacking stuff.
Right, exactly. Anyway, so I don't think maybe there was a chip implanted in her brain. Maybe that's why she could do that.
Maybe.
I don't remember. I don't remember like exactly how.
Oh, what's that Disney Channel original movie where the
oh, we're talking about some decoms now.
Yeah. The one where the dude makes the perfect girl as a hologram to be in his band, and then she goes in the other girl's brain.
But I don't know that, but that sounds like the plot of Her. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that movie was pretty good. I like that movie.
I think I would like that movie, but I actually haven't seen it. I just know that that's the premise. Where the guy dates his phone.
Yeah, he dates his phone.
Yeah.
I guess I won't give it away.
Right, exactly. I think I would like it, so I think I would watch it.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, I watch. It's like, watch it on a day when you're ready to be like, oh.
I know exactly what you mean, and I have those days sometimes.
Yeah, don't watch it on a day when you're like, hey, I want to watch a cool rom-com. I just want to chill out with the rom-com, eat some popcorn, hang with my buds.
It's a
It's a downer.
yeah. I was gonna say watching on a day where you're like, I don't mind feeling bummed out today, like a little bummed out.
A day when you're like, I could go for some ennui.
Ennui, yeah. I could
go for that would really hit the spot.
Oh yes, just a touch of ennui.
Yeah, that's the kind of movie.
That's the movie. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I don't necessarily feel like we've exhausted this topic, but
are we talking about exhaustion now?
We could
in D&D.
Exhaustion in D&D.
That's a great concept.
Did we? we should do that.
No, actually, I wanted to talk about was what kind of campaign would really bring out the color of this character's eyes.
Yeah. So
figuratively.
Like
what's the setting we're looking at?
Maybe it sounds like a cop out, but I'm always on. I always have the feeling like any character can work in any kind of campaign or setting.
What?
But where would it thrive? Like, where would it be really good? I don't know, man.
So in a setting where everybody's pirates, I don't think this one is a particularly strong character.
No, because it's almost redundant.
It doesn't stand out. Yeah, you could just be a regular barbarian pirate, right? This is a world where pirates are something special and different.
Yeah,
if it's even a pirate, it's not necessarily a pirate. This character doesn't. Have to do anything illegal.
Right. They could be an islander even.
Ooh, I like that.
You know, like just.
Ooh, I like that a lot.
You know,
oh my gosh,
just somebody who lives on an island.
Yeah.
You know, it could be anything because a lot of islander cultures,
a cross between Moana and Castaway.
Yeah. Wilson.
Yeah.
There's a personality trait. Maybe this person has been stranded on an island,
and then they commune with the sea and by accident when they create a body for it by accident by they have a volleyball. He's a volleyball, right?
Yeah, Wilson's a volleyball.
Yeah,
with a bloody handprint,
right,
for a face.
So there's this volleyball, and the spirit of the sea inhabits it. And it's like, man, I've been waiting to talk to somebody for a long time. Listen.
And everybody thinks he's crazy.
Yeah.
But really, he actually
did talk to him. Oh, boy. And then he has to go on a quest to save the ocean or whatever. There's your Moana stuff right there.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
and
man.
So he gets these watery powers and he's like, yeah.
Take this guy. Take this and run with it. Next time.
Oh, heck yeah.
Next player character that dies, you're bringing this guy into the show.
This is really good. Oh my god.
Yeah, this is great.
I mean, that had some spice to it. That got the goosebumps, man.
Right, man. It pulls from a lot of sources too. It's it's got a nice taste.
Yeah.
I like it. I like
it. Yeah, because I mean the Castaway idea, they can come from anywhere then. Their background can be whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
They can be any kind of person.
And it doesn't even have to matter.
This. Right.
It can matter, but it doesn't have to.
Yeah, it can be like a very specific person was chosen for this or something like that too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the path that their life took to get them to where they had to be. Could be a destiny thing.
Man.
The theme of destiny and choice in Dungeons and Dragons comes up so much.
Right.
It's because that's what the gameplay is.
Right.
It is you struggling against destiny, which is these dudes.
Right. Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Because there's the dice. You know, there's this sort of thought that you are going to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but then it depends on how you're playing it too. But there's always the dice. The dice ultimately tell you what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, right? So, oh yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be good for 2 today, or maybe 3. It depends on how meaty the other ones are. But
yeah, I'm just making sure.
Yeah, we're good on time though.
Yeah, but anyway, so setting ideas for this, definitely a world where pirates and seafarers are not a super common thing.
I think that would be better that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a tricky thing is, like when you look at the like transportation generally around the world,
Hmm.
if you have a bunch of seafarers in general, this could be good. How do you have a bunch of seafarers without a bunch of pirates though? So yeah, we'll have to throw that out. So this is going to be a largely land-based
That's
campaign.
what I was thinking too. Not a
Um,
lot of water.
not a lot, but actually, I guess to make it so this person is like, you know, shocking.
Hmm.
Like when people meet them, they're like, "Wow, something is off about you. Why do you smell so salty? Why do you
Hmm.
smell so salt? Can you smell salt? Can I smell salt?"
I
They
guess
just
so.
find out that you
Yeah.
can smell. I don't know if that's true.
Um,
Um,
okay, so I was just in San Francisco over the weekend,
oh, that's right. Yeah.
which is on the ocean,
Hmm.
the Pacific Ocean. My first time ever being on the Pacific Ocean. Nope, that's not true. I went to China. That is also the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
I was gonna say I've never been to that ocean, but I guess I have to.
you've been to Japan.
Yeah.
Um, so the United States Pacific Ocean, though,
Hmm.
I've never been to before. Uh, and it did not. I've been on the Gulf of Mexico,
Hmm.
and there was a distinct salty smell to the air
Hmm.
down there. But for some reason, off the bay in San Francisco,
It's all the essential oils.
it really it really didn't smell very salty. Like it didn't smell oceany at all.
Hmm.
Now, granted, I didn't go on a beach at all. I took a ferry to Alcatraz while we were there, so I was on the water a little bit. But
Doing some like house shopping.
yeah, maybe I could get some real estate here.
Yeah.
That was cool, by the way. I won't talk about it on the show because I don't think it's interesting enough. But
Oh,
it was cool.
all right. But here, character idea.
Uh huh.
This person is imprisoned. They're not a castaway. They're imprisoned
On an island.
on an
Oh
island.
my gosh, they're imprisoned on an island
And
like
how do they get out?
Alcatraz.
They become water.
Now,
They just like,
I did learn about a lot about escape attempts from Alcatraz, and there it's skeptical on whether or not there were any successful ones once it became a maximum security prison.
hmm,
But it used to be a military prison,
hmm.
and there were some successful escape attempts when it was a military prison. So yeah, that's interesting. I say skeptical because there were two guys who did technically escape, and they never found their bodies,
So they got out, but
but they don't know if they made it.
yeah,
Because a
they
lot
were
of
they were not in the building anymore, but
right,
they might not have been anywhere else either.
right, because a lot of people like technically escaped, and then they found them in the water.
Hmm.
The interesting thing about Alcatraz, and this is why this is such a good idea for a character too,
Hmm.
the way that the currents are around Alcatraz, they're so strong, and they always bring you like right back to the island.
Hmm.
So even if you can find like a makeshift raft of some kind or make one, it's really hard to get away because it will just take you right back to the island.
Hmm.
If like always, I don't think the currents ever change. Um,
Yeah.
so, but if you control the currents, or if you
Or if you
have
are the currents.
some, yeah, if you have some mastery over the
Yeah.
ocean itself, that's a great idea. And then that brings up so much. Like, what do they do to get imprisoned in there?
Hmm. Why are they now a hero in a D&D campaign?
Right, exactly.
If
Like,
they are a hero indeed, but
right.
and that's actually so that's a good thing for this character, to make them shine in a setting. Because when you look at how they fight,
Mm-hmm.
drowning somebody is pretty brutal, and most people don't consider that to be fighting. Am I right? Am I
Right.
wrong? Like
Yeah.
I think if you're
Yeah.
drowning somebody, it's a little different than fighting them. But that's almost what this character does. Like the way that they're going to be seen by other people, like slaying a dragon with your sword is cool and all, but um like catching like I was gonna say an escaped convict, but I guess this is the escaped convict. I don't know, catching somebody and then like dragging them into obstacles as water, just them. tumbling around inside of your watery body, however that ends up looking.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's some fun opportunities there to make it look cool. Anyway, that's a brutal way of fighting. Like it's not, it's sloppy. It's painful for them, and it triggers primal fears in a lot of people, of the water. Um, yeah, I don't know. That's a pretty, so you could imagine, like, what would this person's personality be like if they fight this way?
Yeah, they must have some kind of experience with fishing or
Mhm.
something, whaling maybe,
Mhm.
because that's kind of the imagery that's evoked from it.
Mhm.
So there's that. Um,
You
and
could
may,
even imagine that they died. They like were previously a whaler and died fighting a whale, like that kind of thing. Like they
right,
they went that, like,
and the ocean had a job for them
yeah,
and brought them back.
yeah.
Right, which has warlock vibes
Mhm.
too. That's Ford from Campaign 2 of Critical Role. That's sort of what he did. His ship exploded,
Mhm.
and then he woke up on the beach because the ocean had something for him to do
Mhm.
that it wanted him to do. His patron, which wasn't the ocean; it was like an ocean entity.
Mhm.
But I like this idea that the ocean has something because it has to be something like that because this is barbarians. There are now, there weren't originally, but fifth edition has given us a lot of barbarian subclasses that use magic in some way,
Mhm.
or have some abilities that are clearly magical,
Right.
which is not a normal barbarian thing,
No.
originally. So this is it's cool that we have some precedence for that because that's what this is for sure.
Mhm.
A normal person can't just turn into a wave and crash into people.
Right. Yeah.
So there's something going on here,
Yeah.
and you have to
You
include
you
that.
you do, and you can't just be like, "Oh, my character just, they went." Well, alright, what if they went to wave school?
They just carry around a really big bucket of water with them, and they just tip it over.
There's an idea.
And it's I don't know. They've just mastered this
The
technique.
the anchor is surgically implanted into them, and the chain, like, just
They have an artificer buddy that just hooked him up. It's like Haas Delgado from Billy and Mandy.
Mhm.
He's just all
Yeah. That's who I was thinking of with my cleric fighter dude.
Haas
Is somebody
Delgado.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
not
Well,
not actually Van Helsing, more like
more like
Hostel
more like
God.
Haas Delgado is like
Yeah,
is
that's what he
he's
is.
like the parody of those kinds of
Mhm.
combat things. It's great. Well, you ready for the next one?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready for the next one.
Cool. I don't know if there's a lot to talk about with this one. Because
That's okay, we don't need a lot.
that's true. I guess we don't need a lot to talk about right now. So these are well, first it comes from Livingstone underscore library. Livingston, maybe? No, there's an E. Livingstone.
I like Livingstone Library, that's kind of, I wonder if it is a play on Livingston Library. Hey, Livingstone Library, tell us about your name when you get a chance.
So these are some um this is also a Critical Role thing. If you're not a fan of Critical Role, you don't have to be for this to make sense really.
Mhm.
But time and space magic is something that Matt Mercer has put into his campaigns.
Are you saying time and space, like space-time, or are you saying time magic and space magic?
Yeah,
To
well,
clarify.
space time magic, and then also like gravity based
Okay,
magic,
yes. Okay, that's what I thought.
which I guess is space. They're separate but very closely related,
Yeah.
so they're kind of the same thing. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's all under the umbrella of one type of magic. Dunamancy
Yeah.
is what it's called. So it's all Dunamancy, but some Dunamancy is space related and some is time related.
Mhm.
Anyway, this is, I think, just a handful of Dunamancy spells that somebody made up. Um, And I haven't read any of them, but I'm sure some of them are cool. So Azusa's adorable aeronautic.
You're gonna have to explain the name of this one to me.
I don't know yet. I haven't read
okay.
the description, but I don't know who Azusa is.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know why it's adorable. And aero means like air,
Yep.
like in the air.
And nautic means
And
to like go through it.
right. So we'll see what it does. So this is a concentration spell up to 10 minutes. It takes a minute to cast.
Or to like sail on it. Anyway, yeah.
So a large pastel colored gas bag balloon attaches to a chair used in the spell's casting.
So it's a hot air balloon.
Yeah, chair rises 5 feet vertically. You must be sitting in the chair for it to work. The chair has a flying speed of 5 feet and continues rising vertically until you command it to move in another direction. A maximum height of 150 feet. When the duration is 1 minute remaining, the chair begins to descend vertically. The chair has an AC of 13 and 10 hit points.
All right, it's just a temporary thing that lets you float. Next.
Okay, it's a first level spell.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
It's a cool one for what it does.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't need to be Dunamancy. It doesn't need to be, I think.
No, I agree. Actually, it says that it's conjuration.
There we go. Okay.
So
yeah, cool.
Maybe they're not Dunamancy, but I thought that when I first read this, actually none of these are Dunamancy. Okay, never mind. I was wrong. But I think it's based off of that kind of thing in some cases. Anyway, first level divination here. An action and instantaneous to cast Chrono Shift.
Ooh.
You accelerate the relative time of one of your allies. Choose a friendly creature within range. The target's turn takes place immediately after the end of your current turn. This takes the place of the turn they would have otherwise taken between your turn and your
next turn. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. So you can shift somebody's place in combat.
Yeah.
To right after you.
Yeah. So if you're following the original combat rules, that's going to be more useful, maybe, because I have seen some cool extra like different rule variations for that could be easier to manage sometimes if you're playing Theater of Mind. And easier to manage is sometimes more fun.
Yeah.
But so we could talk about that another time, though.
Enhance Implement. The first level transmutation. One action lasts an hour. You touch a tool and bestow it bestow a magical enchantment. Until the spell ends, ability checks made using the tool are made with advantage. That's it.
Okay, gives you advantage on
the tool. That's pretty nice.
Yeah. Simple.
Pound of Flesh, second level necromancy.
Okay.
Lasts an hour, an action to cast. Choose one creature you can see within range. They make a Constitution saving throw. On a failure, they take 3d6 necrotic damage, and the target's hit point maximum is reduced by the necrotic damage that it took. On a success, they take half as much damage and no additional effects. Their hit point maximum returns to normal after the spell's duration. So after an hour, it goes back to normal. Or it could be ended with a remove curse or greater restoration or similar magic.
Okay. Now, I really like the flavor of that, where the spell gouges out a pound of their flesh and temporarily their hit point maximum is decreased. And so please take this criticism lightly that follows, because I don't see a place where I would use, like, I see that I would use this spell. I just don't see where that particular part will come in clutch. You know what I mean? Like that particular piece of it, I don't know if that would ever be very useful.
If you're fighting a wizard, chances are they have something in the woodwork to heal themselves back up. because wizards are squishy.
Right.
It's like when you're at a gym in Pokemon and they use the full restore.
Right. Well,
Um,
I just yeah.
so I think it could be useful in like a very specific situation, though.
Yeah. It depends. I guess it depends on how fast their healing is.
And you can also cast it at higher levels.
Mhm.
So third level or higher is an extra D6,
Yeah.
which what was it again? 3d6. So third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth. I mean, if you cast this at ninth level, that's 7. No, 7 more. So 10d6.
Mhm.
And I could do some serious,
Yeah, that could cut
serious stuff.
somebody's hit points down by maybe a quarter. Well, maybe not somebody you're fighting who's when you're casting ninth level spells, but um, yeah, do you see what I mean? Like it's
Right.
not gonna.
But again, wizards are squishy. Like what's the average on 10d6 is like 30 something, right?
Yeah,
Even a really high level wizard has
sure.
less than 100 hit points.
Is that true?
They can.
Do
I
they
mean,
get? They have D4 hit die.
yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure D4 hit die. Yeah, I just know that okay, maybe they have just over 100 hit
Mm-hmm.
points cuz I know that again, a character from Critical Role, Caleb, had at level 17 still had under 100 hit points,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty close to
Now,
level
so
20.
yeah, for this spell, I guess it's marketed as a player spell, like one that a player would use on enemies.
But you think this is more of a spell to be done to the players.
No, well, I mean, it could be, I guess, yeah, but
Mhm.
if they designed it for players to use, then no, it's not my choice. That's theirs. So I think I don't know. There's something that feels like it could operate a little differently, and it would be more useful for that aspect. Like I don't know. There's not really very many monsters where I'm worried about their maximum hit points. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's what the issue is. There aren't a lot of things where I'm worried about their maximum hit points, and maybe there should be something like that.
Well, yeah, like like a troll or something, or even a vampire. They heal back every round.
I feel like vampires would be immune to this spell.
I know. I don't think
I
so.
just get the feeling they would. Trolls, obviously, they're not. They might be resistant to it. I don't know if they're resistant to necrotic.
Though,
Probably not.
well, vampires I think are resistant to
Resistant?
necrotic
Yeah.
damage. Trolls I don't think are. I don't think so. I don't have any reason to think that they are. Well,
They're
anyway,
resistant to most types of damage.
trolls.
Yeah.
They are, yeah, I think they're
And
resistant to like their classic bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. But they're vulnerable to fire and acid, I think. And if they're hit with fire or acid, then they can't regenerate hit points.
right.
So there's that.
Hmm.
Um, well, there's one more. It's a third level enchantment,
Hmm.
Seal Magic. It's concentration up to 10 minutes, action to cast. You choose 3 spells that you know or have prepared. And for the duration of this spell, any attempts to cast any of the chosen spells within the spell's range fail and have no effect, including your own attempts.
See, there it goes. I just, I guess having NPCs cast the same spells as players, to me, feels like, all right, are you keeping track of spell slots for them? Are you
Yeah,
using them as, what are those called? Whatever actions?
legendary
Yeah,
actions.
legendary actions. Like how are you using these spells? And legendary actions are a good way to use them. Um, but you have to be careful because you can't give the enemy too many player spells as legendary actions because they will go ham on you with those. They'll just regenerate them. They'll just they'll cast vicious mockery on you a billion times.
No, it works the same way as a player character. If because well, there's a difference between spells and like abilities, like actions that they can take.
Mm-hmm.
Like often, like a lot of legendary creatures can cast spells as legendary actions, but they still have spell slots.
Yeah, that's what I don't like.
No,
Yeah, I don't like that. Um,
you would prefer if they could just cast them all the
I'd
time.
prefer if they didn't have spell slots to keep track of.
Okay, but what would you do instead?
I would give them abilities that I would be okay with them regenerating. Um, so it could have the same name as a spell that players cast and have a different level of effect. That I would be okay with.
Or well, what about they can only use it so many times per day? But that's the same
That's
as
spell slots.
having spell slots, right? So
Yeah. Well, plus I'm gonna assume that they're gonna die in this combat encounter, or the whole party will. We'll get to like if they're a recurring character next, maybe, but let's start with they're gonna be dead or you are. So you don't have to worry about regenerating spell slots after the combat.
well, okay. So uh, I'm going to posit a few things to you
Mm-hmm.
because I think that what you're suggesting will inherently make it combat less interesting because I like the idea that they can have a big thing that they can do once, and that's like their Hail Mary, and they can try it. Which is like
That's
their
easy to keep track of, though. So yes, we'll go with that.
right, but that's still like, but that's like, but they can choose between a few different things depending on how things are going from
Mm-hmm.
them for them, and they have to pick which one they're going to do for their big uh sort of Hail Mary attempt to win.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the idea of that. Because then there's also the chance that it won't work for them or
Mm-hmm.
like it won't be in their favor. Um, and I also like I like the freedom that spell slots allow where you can choose to use them for different spells depending on what's going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like so if you just had abilities that you can do and you could use them whenever, then I think that that would put the DM in a position where they would just use the one that works the best and just do that every time
Mm-hmm.
because why would they use anything else?
Oh well, I would do it a little different.
Okay.
I would have a limited number of abilities that this creature has,
Okay.
and they would regenerate. And to me, that's easier than keeping track of spell
Like
slots.
they would regenerate in the same way that like a dragon's breath does,
Mm-hmm.
where on a roll of 5 or 6 you get it back.
Yep.
Okay, that
Yep.
makes more
And it might
sense.
even be you roll one die, and you could regenerate all three of your, or all four, or all however many. Because
Okay.
I'd also rather not roll a billion times on the NPC's turns. That's not super fun dynamic gameplay always. So I think, yeah, like if they roll, boom, now they have all their actions back, and you guys are gonna get messed up. Um, but if they roll bad, then like they're struggling this round. Like you caught them off guard. Their footing's bad. Their breath stank. Like whatever.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah,
Now I'm
that
on the
that's what
same
I'm
page.
thinking. Is give them, because those abilities can all be really useful and varied, but it's not as, first of all, it's not as much stuff as a whole spell book, which I feel like is a lot to say, hey, players, prepare for any spell. They could cast any evocation magic on you. Get ready for that, or whatever. I guess just limiting it to one school of magic is already a little bit better, actually, I guess. But
Well, to that point though, I also think cuz you said, in most instances
mhm,
you're going to fight somebody once and then either they're going to be dead or you're going to be dead.
mhm.
But I think that there's something to say about a magic caster that gets away or you have to run away from it
Yeah,
and then fight it again, but this time you know what they're capable of.
yeah. Or this time they have a secret they're coming back to you and they've got a new trick up their sleeve.
Right. I guess I'm saying that from the perspective of again watching Critical Role
Mm-hmm.
and seeing it work really well, where there was a recurring villain who showed up a bunch of times
Mm-hmm.
and either escaped or they had to escape from them, and having a different trick up their sleeve every time, but this still the same basic abilities.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, honestly, I think if somebody gets away from combat with the characters
mhm.
and survives, I would treat it as they leveled up.
Yeah, I think that's how he did it.
Yeah,
I
I would
think
treat
that's
it as them leveling up and give them increased stats, increased abilities,
right. Be-
whatever I feel like they deserve.
Because the other thing to keep in mind is they just fought you too. So now they know
Mhm.
what you guys are capable of.
Yep.
In addition. Yeah.
If you give experience based leveling, I think that there could be experience for a not victory, for surviving a
Yes.
fight.
Yes, there is. And there are rules for that
So-
in D&D. Actually, if you survive an encounter with a high challenge rating creature, or any creature really,
Mhm.
like when the combat resolves, you get experience for it, whether you defeated it or just simply were able to survive
Yeah. Because if it
fend them off.
surrenders or something, like, I mean,
Yeah.
that counts too, but you didn't kill it. And so I guess killing the creature is not necessary for the experience points.
Right. Because if you think about the utility of experience points, the experience happens when you fight something,
Right.
regardless.
The points happen when you get
When you get
I'm
REM
not clear.
sleep.
So you have the ball, and then what do you? Yeah, when you get REM, that we did talk about that on the show. Never mind. I was gonna say only giving your players experience when they sleep, like when they long rest.
Yeah.
The experience is applied.
Right, because that's how actual
Life works.
skills and memories work. Yeah.
Yeah,
It makes sense.
that's a fun thing. That's like an easy thing to do it the realistic way if you want,
Yeah.
as opposed to things where it would be tedious.
It's borderline a flavor thing.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
salted egg flavored chips.
right. Basically,
One of you got that. One of you gets what I'm talking about right now.
salted egg flavored chips.
Yeah,
Where do you get those?
Japan.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So, what was I saying? You all that really guarantees is that it'll make it easier for the players and the dungeon master, because
Mhm.
if you level up because you could level up in the middle of doing something,
Mhm.
and that's a headache
Right.
to do that and then try to get back on track to what
Oh,
you were
God.
doing. You know,
That would
like
be a nightmare. Yeah.
right. So,
So that must be how the rule is, isn't it?
I mean,
Is that what it is?
I don't think it's an official
Hey,
rule.
Google, when do you apply XP? It didn't hear me.
I don't think it's because I was talking over you.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's a rule.
Right.
I think that it's just sort of an understood thing that everybody does,
Mhm.
because it just doesn't make sense to apply a level up in the middle of something else. Because it's not like an RPG video game where leveling up, it just happens, and
They should make a Dungeons and Dragons video game.
they've made several.
They've never made one though. I don't think they've ever made
They've
one.
made very many.
I don't think so.
Baldur's Gate came out like not that long ago.
You mean Baldur's Gate 3?
Yes,
Or the remaster?
both.
But is it a Dungeons and Dragons video game? I don't think they made one.
Speaking of video games, I played WarioWare yesterday.
Oh, I played the demo for it. I haven't played the full game.
It's pretty fun.
That's what. Yeah,
I'd recommend that for
I
a
had
party
a good
game.
time. Oh my god, yeah, I had a good time with the demo.
Yeah, WarioWare is a fun.
A
fun
good enough
party
time
game.
that I played it with Peter, and then I played it with Anna through the whole demo.
It was such a good game that Colin and Carly played it on their honeymoon with each other,
Mhm.
and they were so excited about it that they traded controllers back and forth and played it with me again when they got back.
Nice.
So that I got to play. We played like half of it or something, half of
Yeah.
the story mode, which is very short.
Mhm.
It's like it's a party game, so the story mode's not very long.
Yeah, the game starts after the story mode's done.
Right, exactly. The story mode is basically a tutorial.
Right. Yeah, it
For
like
the
lets
game.
you figure out how each character works.
Right, exactly. So anyway, That's all she wrote, I think.
Yeah, that I don't know of anything else that she wrote, and I'm actually a scholar of her literature.
Oh, Murder, She Wrote.
Right. We can't end the episode like that. Oh my God, what did we just do? What have we done?
That was ending with a bad joke. That's our MO.
It's not our fault. I don't think this is our fault.
What do you mean? What's not our fault?
The viewer.
The viewer's not our fault?
No. The ending's not our fault.
The ending is not our fault.
They chose the wrong options and got the bad ending.
This was an RPG the whole time.
Yep.